There we go. I wonder if the ambient, because this is on ambient, so I wonder if it's going to pick up the crackling of the fire.
The candle, I hope so.
It's going to sound very Christmassy
I hope so.
this January.
I was just thinking, I think this might be the longest we've ever gone without actually, like, sitting down and recording something.
I don't know.
Because it's been 3 full weeks.
Has it?
Yeah.
That might be the longest,
I think
you're right.
it is. I think it's the longest stretch, so.
I don't know.
If Eric's rusty, my apologies.
Me?
To the Twitch
Why am I
stream.
the rusty one?
I'm just saying if. I didn't say you definitely were going to be. It's just an if situation.
If I'm rusty, it's because I've been up for about an hour and 5 minutes. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, you got to reevaluate some choices.
I started taking melatonin.
I heard. How is that going?
That's the chemical that your body produces when it's time to go to sleep.
Yes.
And I guess...
Is it working?
It makes me drowsy at night. Huh. It doesn't necessarily... You know when you're very tired, but you're still awake?
Yeah.
It does that a little bit.
Worst. That is the worst situation.
Well, we'll see. I've only taken it for 4 days.
My least favorite sleep scenario is when you are, like, not fully asleep and are kind of aware that you're not fully asleep. You know what I mean?
Oh, I like that.
Really?
It's kind of warm.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
It's like you're in the womb again.
I don't like that at all.
All right.
It's like you're not quite awake enough to do something about it.
Yeah.
Hate it.
But
that's neither here nor there.
I think it worked because last night I went to bed around like 11:30 and fell asleep. But then a septic alarm in my house went off at 6.
Yeah.
But then I fell back to sleep. But
You
then I
live
woke up
in
again.
a dream. From
I
what
was
I
upset
hear.
because the alarm woke me up from a very heartfelt Terminator dream.
Wow.
Yeah, like the Terminator was good, and he was old, and I was gonna have to leave.
Terminator Genesis. You had a dream about Terminator Genesis.
I guess.
Wow.
I guess I had a dream about that Schwarzenegger.
You're coming around.
I hugged him goodbye. It was sad.
Yeah.
But we made it.
Yeah, good.
So that's the important thing. And then the alarm went off.
Septic alarm.
Yeah. Septic alarms will get you every time.
They sure will. What episode number are we on? You're going to save it as a surprise, or did you forget to check? Because I don't remember.
Did I put it right on the Twitch thing?
Well, I don't know.
We haven't started recording the podcast. We're just talking.
No, I know.
We're on 177.
177.
Yeah. I'll say that in a second.
All right, that
Once
makes
we start
sense.
recording.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. Let's not move this table so much.
Right.
All right, stop.
It's like Jenga. Okay, I'll
Okay.
take my arms off it.
Here we go.
Yep.
Welcome to episode 177 of the All the Books Show, recorded at the David A. Howe Public Library, where we talk news, movies. Why am I saying movies? We talk news and movies?
We talk book news. You
I'm
usually
rusty.
say book news, author news.
You warned people before
I
we started
did.
recording that I might be rusty.
It's been 3 weeks since we've been at the mic, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Well, we talk author news, literary news, and book news.
That's right.
Wow.
That is right.
All right. See you next week.
Yeah, seriously. Next week, when we will be talking about Leanne Moriarty with special guest Kendra Mickles of the Nostalgia Me This podcast. But this week, we're going to be talking about some page-to-screen adaptations, particularly page-to-small-screen adaptations, some TV things coming up. We'll get into that in a minute, though. You want to dive into our bookmarks?
Yeah, let's do that first.
I just want to apologize to you and our listeners because I did have a very productive couple of weeks off. So I'm just going to go through rapid fire.
You think traveling and being in other people's houses for...
I wouldn't have guessed that, but you told me ahead of time that you did not have a very productive book time.
I didn't, but I forgot there was some stuff that was watched.
Oh, good. Okay, nice.
So, anyway.
All right, well, let's dive in. I'm going to start with books here in my handy-dandy blue
Welcome
journal.
to All the Book Show. Books section.
Yeah, I like it.
I like
it's a good new
books.
name. Yep. All right,
All right.
Here's my bookmark. You ready?
I'm going to drink some more of this Coke.
I finished Starfire by James Buckner. Now, this is a very light sci-fi novel from the 60s, I want to say, early 60s, adapted into the Disney movie The Moon Pilot.
That's why you read this.
Which my wife and son and I watched several weeks back.
You sent me the cover, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, why did Nick just pick
I
this
was just
up?
curious about it because we watched the movie, and I wanted to know more, and so I read the book. The movie was also 60s.
60s,
yeah.
Okay.
This is a very faithful... The Moon Pilot was a very faithful adaptation of the James Buckner book. It barely diverges at all, but the plot basically is they're doing the first launch, the first astronaut who's going to be up in space, and nobody really wants to do it. And one guy gets volunteered reluctantly to do it. Top secret, can't talk about it, but he does a trip home first and runs into a friendly alien who is trying to give him a secret, like a fatal flaw that they're missing. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't follow her instructions, their spaceship is not going to make it. And so that's basically the plot. Then the FBI wants to find out about it. Other people are trying to find out about this space flight. So hilarity ensues. As I said, it was a very light sci-fi novel.
Right.
I read Fearless by Max Lucado, which is, as Eric yells at his dogs. I read Fearless by Max Lucado. I've read Max Lucado stuff before and have enjoyed it. This kind of a self-help sort of book was awful. I mean, it was awful. It was like it was written by a teenager, and I don't mean in a good way.
Which one was this? I'm sorry.
Fearless by Max Lucado.
Oh yeah, This
good.
is another book that you sent me the cover for, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. It was one of the Sunday school classes at my church was reading it, and so I thought,
Nick is notoriously afraid.
I've read Max Lucado before, so I thought, well, I'll just pick it up, and it was not for me.
Do you think we'll ever regain the name Max from supervillains?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't want to say it definitively, but it's possible.
I think it's Max Powers is the. No, that's not right. There's the Batman Beyond villain is a Powers. I'm not sure if it's Max or not.
I'm not
Derek
sure
Powers.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Well, I guess we worked it out.
Yeah, I guess we did. I finished What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty, which is the first in our Endless Winter book club, everyone.
Nick forgot to like the book.
I'm going to do a quick quick plug here. Nikki Gordon, who's the circulation supervisor at the David A. Howe Public Library, is going to be leading a book club, the Endless Winter Book Club, featuring Leanne Moriarty books. So up first, on January 10th, we're going to be discussing What Alice Forgot. February 14th, we're going to be talking The Husband's Secret. March 14th, we're going to be talking Truly Madly Guilty. And 4/11/19, April 11th, we're going to be talking Big Little Lies, which we've done in another book club. This is with a new group, so we'll see what people think.
And it's post the show?
Post the show, yes, absolutely. I read... Yeah.
Post Nicole Kidman's later turn as Aquaman's mother.
As Aquaman's mother.
So that might...
Which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, that might color your
Anyway,
experience.
What Alice Forgot is about a woman who falls off an exercise bike and forgets 10 years of her life. And you kind of follow her as she's putting the pieces together, and her life as a 38-year-old woman is not in the place that she was hoping it would be when she was a 28-year-old woman. So it's all about kind of exploring relationships and that sort of thing. Yeah. So I did enjoy reading it. I enjoyed it with some reservations. So I'm looking forward to discussing this at the book club. I'd like to hear what other people think.
Okay.
Eric's wife is a huge fan of these books, and she took issue with my rating, which we will discuss in episode 178 when Kendra joins us.
But she wasn't a fan of the newest one.
No, right here, whatever it's called. What is it?
Nine Perfect Strangers.
9 Perfect Strangers, yeah. She didn't love that one so much.
Strangers,
and I think, honestly, I think she and I agree on What Alice Forgot. I think she just gave a generous 4, and I gave a more strict 3.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see. I picked up The Cuban Affair by Nelson DeMille. So Nelson DeMille, has been a big name for decades. He's just one of kind of a go-to. His publishing has kind of slowed down in recent years. This one came out just last year.
All his books have the same cover style.
No, I don't think so, actually.
Okay, I guess the Cuban Affair cover looks very familiar.
Okay. Well, honestly, the cover is why I picked it up. I picked this up at the Giant in Cuba. Mm-hmm. It was just there in the rack, and I was like, boy, that looks interesting. And it was a long line, so I read the first little section of it.
Chicken finger sandwich deal.
I didn't get
it's
that.
It's always real good.
Okay.
A couple of potato fries, potato salad. Mm-hmm. Delicious.
Okay.
Hard to beat that price.
Yeah, well, back to The Cuban Affair. I'd never read Nelson DeMille before, and I did really enjoy the writing style. I liked his...
What's his big thing?
Plum Island is a pretty big one. He's just one of those ones, over the last couple of decades, but I would say over the last 10 years, ones we've been seeing a lot in the library, in and out.
Yeah.
This is about a woman who is of Cuban heritage, and her grandfather stored away a lot of Cuban property deeds and money. He was a banker and stored a lot of really important documents at a secret location in Cuba. And she's trying to put together a crew to basically go back and recover this and help Cuban expats reclaim what's theirs.
Look, if this goes Fast and the Furious, I'm kind of in.
It's a very interesting premise, and the whole talking about the Cuban thaw and all that. There's a lot that's really interesting in this book. Where it falls is just the blatant sexism. It really ruins the book for me. It's because it's because this woman, she's the driving force. She's the one who has the connection. She's the one who knows the map. She's the one who's putting the team together. She hires Mac. This basically he's a ex-military guy, but he basically just does charter boat rides out of Key West. But it's instantly like they're a couple, and she's like, "Oh, Mac, what are we gonna do?" And he's like, "I'll help you." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you're a charter boat fisherman.
Right.
You know nothing about this."
Yeah. You know who relates to her dilemma here?
Who?
Mira.
Yeah.
From Aquaman.
Yeah. So she just becomes a very typical like girlfriend damsel kind of character,
Right.
and it just doesn't work. It just drops right out, and then there's a love triangle, and so you have good writing, you have a really fascinating story, you have a really fascinating hook to the story, and just the dated sexism of the characters makes it. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't say that it's worth reading, honestly.
I'm going to forgive you for not
Disappointed with
saying it's a Bermuda love triangle.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to forgive the world for not having that as a book.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Bermuda love triangle.
I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it's out there. As a little aside, my brother was in town, and we got to talking about books, and we got to talking about...
Not past guest Steve.
No, my brother Josh, who's the closest in age to me. I was 5 when Josh was born, so a little closer. And we got to talking about books, we got to talking about the Ninja Turtles, and we decided that we were going to read the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle novelization by Eric and David. As you know, I love both the Ninja Turtles and novelizations. So we read it.
But what you don't
We both
love
enjoyed it.
is the Ninja Turtle, the new movies that this book is based on.
I know, but I just thought it would be fun, and it was. So I enjoyed the book, and Josh
now
did
you
as
feel
well.
like maybe you're going to give them another go?
Listen, I put it right out to the listeners right now. I said if you're willing to watch through the Ninja Turtle movies, I'll watch it.
I don't believe you.
I will.
I believe we'll
Absolutely.
watch. I believe we'll finish TMNT, and then it's time to watch the new Turtles, and you're like, no, thank you.
I will put my phone in a phone bowl. I will watch this Ninja Turtles movie, but
There's two of them.
I will. We got to watch the original 3 and TMNT. So if you're willing to
I saw
commit on
TMNT
mic,
in theaters.
then we'll do it. All right.
Please
Sorry
don't
about
touch
that.
my microphone.
And here, I read a book that I've been razzing for a couple of weeks. I read The Next Person You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom.
Yeah, what happened?
Well,
I don't even think I saw this on Goodreads.
I put it on Goodreads.
Yeah, I must have just missed it.
Okay. Well, I was a big Mitch Albom fan. I love Tuesdays with Morrie. I like The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. Mm-hmm. There's one other one that I don't remember, so I probably didn't like that one as much. But anyway, why I did this, because I was looking for a good audiobook, and I went on Overdrive and put in just the new, like with newly added, and it was there, and it was available, and it was 4 hours, and I was like, you know what, Mitch, I'm going to do it for old time's sake.
Mitch Albom.
And I got to say, as far as unnecessary and unwanted sequels go, I had a good time.
All right.
I had a good time. It picked up some threads and some characters from the first book. It was different enough that it didn't just feel like a total retread. It is definitely a retread, but
So more Force Awakens than Crystal Skull.
yes, but it worked. So I think it's solid. I think it's not going to take you a long time to read it. If you're a fan of his other books, read it. I would say definitely read The 5 People You Meet in Heaven first. But yeah, it's a good time. It's a quick time.
Okay. It's a good time. It's a quick time.
Moving into some graphic novels, and I told you up front, there's a lot of these.
Remember QuickTime?
Yeah.
Never really worked.
No, I didn't. It was kind of like, I have to use QuickTime for this.
Yeah, like, please show me my movie trailer. And you're like, how about tomorrow?
I read some Batman and Robin. I'm moving into my graphic novel section, so everybody keep up. Some Batman and Robin. Hunt for Robin and Robin Rises. This was a pretty good 1-2 punch. I gotta say, I enjoyed both of these very much.
I read the
Hunt for Robin.
Hunt for Robin.
Yeah.
And I read that... Man... Oh, you know what? I read that as like an advanced reader copy.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
Yeah.
And that's why I ended up wanting to read that Two-Face thing. I'm like, maybe the series got good.
Yeah.
And apparently it didn't really get good until
I think
Robin.
so. But you have Robin Rises
you
right
lent
now.
it to
You're
me,
going to
so I
read
gotta
it.
read it.
Okay. The next two, this is a touchy topic, everyone, because the next two I'm about to tell you about were gifts from a very good friend of mine who had my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Gifts from Eric Mickles.
Yeah.
And they are Warren Ellis's James Bond graphic novels.
Yeah.
Now, I love James Bond. I love graphic novels. I've heard very good things about these.
Yeah.
Hated them.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And I think that you need to read them.
I'm gonna.
Because you'll see.
I'm gonna love them.
I'm
gonna be like, this was a gift to myself.
Listen, I honestly don't think that you will. I know that we don't always agree on this kind of thing, but I think here you're going to pick these up and you're going to be like, I don't get it. Because I like the novels. I like the Ian Fleming novels. And they are
Right.
darker, and James Bond is not like the suave Roger Moore kind of character in the novels, and I get that totally.
Right.
But this is like, first, the graphic violence is just off the charts, which is not in the books. It's not in the movies.
Right.
It's just not part of the James Bond canon.
Right. Well, it's in the Tim Dalton films.
I guess, but takes that even an next
More than
step.
License to Kill.
Absolutely.
Jeez.
Absolutely. I don't think I've ever read any graphic novel with this level of violence before.
You think Tim Dalton would be reading this and be like, "Good God!"
Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh my word!" But yeah, I mean, you don't have the classic. You don't really have like the Bond cars, the Bond gadgets, the Bond girls, which I guess maybe wouldn't play as well now anyway. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's mirthless, I would say,
Okay.
and merciless in its violence. So I'm glad to have read them. Volume 3 is Andy Diggle, who I enjoy.
Do you?
Yeah, I still would like to read Volume 3.
All right. Well, you can get that crap for yourself.
But
I get it.
But listen, I
fine.
want you to read these, and I want to hear what you think.
Somebody once gifted me Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies at like the height of my zombie fandom.
Yeah.
And they had all the best intentions.
Yeah.
And honestly, I ended up enjoying like the Pride and Prejudice
Well,
parts more.
Yeah.
And so like when I gave it a 2-star review, I was like, I appreciate the gift.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
Well, that's what I say. I stand by it. The gift makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It was things that I wanted that I didn't know that I wanted. So
He also got Injustice 2 with the Ninja Turtles included.
that was great.
So.
That was a good gift. Absolutely. I read Wonder Woman Earth 2 Volume 2.
Yeah.
So if you look back on our Wonder Woman episode, which features my wife as a special guest, I talked very much about my love for Wonder Woman Earth 2 Volume 1 by Grant Morrison.
Right.
One of maybe my favorite Wonder Woman story out there. I really loved
I think
it.
he said that.
Volume 2 works, but it is very much a part 2 of 3.
Okay.
Like Volume 1 you read as a standalone.
Oh, is
you
there
don't-
going to be a third one?
Yes.
Oh.
You don't need any more. Earth 2 Volume 1 of Wonder Woman you can read by itself. You never have to pick up number 2. Number 2 is just to be continued, period.
Right.
So it's really hard to just read this and rate it. And I also didn't go into it knowing there was a part 3. So I think if you know that you're not going to get a resolution and that this is just a waiting game,
Right.
maybe you'll enjoy it. Because I did like it. I read Batgirl Volume 3 Minefields, which is kind of the ends of the Batgirl of Burnside little miniseries, which they didn't intend to be a miniseries. But
Right, because then they did Rebirth.
Rebirth, yeah.
Yeah, we have these like Burnside ones.
I do,
And
I
then
read our
the Rebirth titles at the library as well.
So I'm looking forward to starting Rebirth again, but this series, the style is very cool, the look is very cool, they always feel a little jumbled, they always feel a little wordy.
Different writer for Rebirth. It's Hope Larson.
Okay, all right. I think that I just think they didn't give you enough soon enough, and then it's an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man situation here, because it kept kind of teasing this is where we're going, and we never got there, and now the series is over. So I like the look of it. I think it was a cool use of characters. I really like Spoiler as a character, and she was in there and had some stuff to do. So they were setting up a cool
Stephanie?
they were setting up kind of a cool like girl group, and then it didn't happen. So
Sorry, man.
anyway, I read Pastimes at Superhero High by Shea Fontana, and I'm a fan of this series. I'm a fan of Shea Fontana. I met her
This
at
is the Superhero Girls High School one. Yeah.
I met her at the ALA conference a few years back, and she had some cool stuff to say about this series. So I've been a fan. This one is a swing and a miss. These are written for a young audience, but this was more like written for an 8-year-old, and I was not a fan.
All right.
Not good. Nightwing Volume 5, Raptor's Revenge, and then I'm done with my graphic novels. This is the last
Raptor's
one.
Revenge is the name of the second Jurassic Park
You're right.
storyline.
You're right.
From the comics in the 90s.
I'm not a fan of Tim Seeley's take on Dick Grayson, and he's been on it for a long time.
Sorry, man.
This is a wind down, and it actually is a pretty solid wind down. So I enjoyed it. I'm happy that the Seeley run is over. I'm looking forward to Nightwing Volume 6.
Uh-huh.
Because it's a new creative team, and I've heard some good stuff.
Nice.
So
All
that's
right.
it for me.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all you
I
have?
tried to go as quick as I can.
What are you reading right now?
Oh, what am I reading right now? Yes, well, I'm so glad you asked. I'm continuing to read Mornings on Horseback. That's the Teddy Roosevelt book by David McCullough. I'm enjoying that very much.
Okay.
We're talking about his son's asthma, and we took like a Les Mis-esque divergence to talk about just asthma for a very long time. So hopefully we'll get that back on track. And then I'm reading Darksaber by Kevin J. Anderson. with my book club of the future. Not a library book club, just a friend's book club. And this is part of a loose trilogy. I'm blanking on it. The Callisto trilogy. Wasn't a fan of the Barbara Hambly first book. I love Kevin J. Anderson's Star Wars stuff. I love the Jedi Academy trilogy. This picks up some threads from the Hambly book as well as from Jedi Academy. I'm about 100 pages in, and I'm loving it so far. And that's a wrap on me.
Okay.
What about you? What have you been reading?
Good thing I got less than you. I'll tell you what.
I know. I said early on.
All right.
I offered to abridge it, but you said no, Nick.
Yeah. I finished... One thing I did finish, and just recently as well, is Nicola Berry, or is it Nicola Berry?
Probably
Nicola Berry.
Nicola.
Nicola Berry and the Petrifying Problem with Princess Petrolina.
Oh, I like the sound of it.
By Leanne Moriarty.
Ahaha.
This is a kid's book that reads very much like I remember certain kids' books reading as a kid.
Like an 8 to 10 kind of age range, or
It almost reads like a mixture of Roald Dahl and another series I read as a kid called Space Brat.
okay. Space Brats with a Z?
No, just Space Brat.
Singular Space Brat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's sometimes I read a kid's book and I'm like, that was really good. That really got to me. This one I'm like, this is for children. This is not for me. There's nothing. I mean, at one point he's like, would you like a lollipop? She's like, what do you mean? She's like, I always find lollipops help de-stress a situation. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
We're in for a long haul here. Nicola has to go convince the princess not to blow up Earth.
Okay.
Not to turn Earth into a garbage can. Yeah, it's for kids. It's good. We're getting it for the library, but this is not one of the ones where it did something for me as well.
All right.
But
you think like the 8 to 12-year-old range would pick it up and find something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe more 8 to 10 even. But I have to see I read it on my Kindle, so I wonder like how big it is, like because it's not a short read.
Okay.
I would think.
Yeah, it seemed like 250 pages or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of a lot.
So
okay.
Finished that.
So we'll dig into that a little bit more next week.
Yeah. I finished the Nova series by Dan Abnett.
Mm-hmm.
I started this. There were 6 volumes, so it lasted for a while. This is the one that launched...
Was he on Spider-Man for a while? I feel like I read him on Spider-Man.
You might be thinking Dan Slott.
No, I know Dan Slott.
He probably did, yeah. He was around... He probably wrote a lot of the new, like, Brand New Day stuff at the beginning.
Okay.
He wrote Guardians of the Galaxy as we know it from the movies.
Okay.
He created that lineup. But anyway, Nova, this was from 2007, so this got a lot of like talk back then. I remember. I ignored it. And now I've read it all. And it's good. It's just it's very wordy. It's not very funny. So you have to the entertainment comes from like the big ideas, but when you're reading it, it is kind of hard not to just see this as like Green Lantern light.
Okay.
So I think if you're desperate for something that feels like Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run, you might like Nova.
Okay. You know what? I'm looking forward to the Grant Morrison Green Lantern run that's coming out.
And there's a lot of success with Grant Morrison writing.
You're right. And they're talking about a Green Lantern movie with Grant Morrison like doing the story.
Boy.
Which is kind of interesting.
I don't know if Grant Morrison needs
film
budget.
I don't know either, but I will watch it. I'll tell you that.
I read this is by Chris Yost. I read Scarlet Spider, Life After Death.
Okay.
This I can't tell you when this series was, but it was back. It crossovers with Venom and Minimum Carnage, so I started reading it. This is Spider-Man's. I guess he's considered his evil clone from the Clone Saga, Kane.
Okay.
Kane is, but in this he's more of just a bad guy. So I think this came because of Spider Island. He showed back up on the scene. But the book's fun.
Oh, okay.
I liking it.
Wow, I did not expect you to say that.
Yeah, I was surprised. This is like my really most experience with the character Kane.
Okay.
But he's in Houston. He's not really Spider-Man. He's planning to just leave the country and go to Mexico anyway, but things get out of hand, and now he's staying. But it's funny because he was swinging at one point, and then he's like, wait, where'd the buildings go? And he crash-landed and realized he's ran out of skyscraper because he's in Houston. But yeah, so that's fun. I started... I'm close to finishing it, Legion, The Many Lives of Stephen Leeds.
Okay.
And I also started
Sanderson, right?
Yeah, Brandon Sanderson. Okay. And I also started The Lady of the Lake by Andrzej Sapkowski, the 5th book of the Witcher series.
Oh, okay.
So this will be the last Witcher book I read before I can play the games.
Yeah.
So, or watch the show.
Watch the show, yeah.
More on
Save
that.
it. Save it.
Also, I'm starting X-Men Gambit, the Complete Collection, Volume 1, because I don't know if it was my email request or
I think it was.
my Twitter,
I think it was.
my Twitter comments. It could be that Volume 2 just released in trade paperback form. Who knows? It's me or published. It doesn't matter.
Could be.
But all of the 1999 Gambit series is now on Marvel Unlimited.
Thank goodness.
I've been wanting to read this forever.
Yeah.
They use a lot of this images in the old Ultimate X-Men like encyclopedia. I'm like, oh, I gotta read this.
Nice.
So I could just never find single issues as a kid.
Yeah.
And
It's
never
in a trade. This you got my wife for this.
they put the first one, which was like the first 13 issues.
Okay.
Which they had on Unlimited, but they haven't put the second volume worth, and now they have. So I'm excited. It's been a long time coming. Welcome to my homecoming.
Yeah.
Sorry, that became a song.
Okay.
Coming home.
All right.
I also watched The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I don't know what that is.
It's a movie that's on Netflix. It's a Coen Brothers Western.
Oh.
It's very well filmed. Very well filmed? I don't know. It looks great, is what I meant to say.
Well filmed.
It's an anthology of Western tales. 6, I think. It's very good. I think they played it in theaters a little bit because they want it to be nominated for Oscars. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Sometimes it's really funny. James Franco's a guy who ends up robbing a bank and ends up getting sentenced to be hung, but then it doesn't work out, so like he has to deal with like multiple hanging attempts. The first one is funny. The first story is so like offbeat and humorous, and there's singing and ghosts and stuff that you think the whole like, is this going to be the whole movie? And it's not. But it's the most outright comedy, and then some of the other stories get real sad and depressing.
Wow.
So, but
it all works. Like it all ties together. All right?
Yeah, me, my wife, and her brother watched it one night, and it was really good. And usually I'm not a fan of anthology, but this one really worked.
Cool.
So, there's that, and then
You want to talk big budget things we watched, or you want to wait?
Oh, I also finished season 2 of Gotham. I'm on season 3 now.
Okay.
Gotham season 5 has just started, and it's covering 0 years / No Man's Land.
Right.
So that's what got me to get back to watching Gotham after only watching the first 4 episodes ever 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if they're gonna do No Man's Land in 0 year, I'm in. And now I'm like weirdly into Gotham.
Cool.
By the end of season 2,
I'll get you some of the novels.
no, thank you.
No, it'd be my pleasure.
By the end of season 2, I was just like, yeah, this is bad in a lot of ways, but here I am. They do things I don't agree with a lot of times. Yeah. They do things with characters I don't like, and at the same time, I don't know. When's the last time we had a live-action Riddler or Penguin?
Yeah.
And you know what it is, though? It's a prequel. It's like, it's a superhero show without Batman.
Right.
But Bruce Wayne is a major character, so that still kind of counts.
I love that Bruce Wayne kid.
But a lot of the villains, they're not like the super villains they become, but they're still very much... So, like, Penguin is still the Penguin.
Right.
Riddler is still, like, he's becoming the Riddler, but he's still doing his stuff. So, like, characters show up, and they're still what we understand their characters to be. So it's not like, oh, when are they going to become this?
Right.
When is this going to happen? So, I don't know. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Not for you and my wife, because you both quit.
I didn't quit because I, like, hated it. We just kind of got out of the habit of it. I watched the whole first season and the first couple episodes of season 2.
Yeah. Well, you should sister act to this show.
Get back in the habit?
Get back in the habit.
All right. All right. You know what? I think, can we get a high five on that one?
Thank you.
I think, yeah.
All right. The big budget thing that you and I both watched.
Let's do it.
Was Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Not together, separately. You
Swift
saw it before me.
and powerful monarch of the ocean. I've now seen it twice.
Good job. Yeah.
And I gotta say, I liked it both times. I liked it way more the second time. Because I feel like more than any other DC movie, I feel like all the DC movies have been a reaction to Marvel in some way.
Right.
And I think that Aquaman is not. I think Aquaman is just like, it's total own thing. And the first time I watched it, I was just kind of like, I don't even have a place for this. It's like, now we're doing an Indiana Jones thing. Now it's just, you know. Yeah,
Aquaman doesn't feel like any of the DC films, but it also doesn't feel like any of the Marvel films. I was trying to think, it feels like maybe like a DC film. It feels like the movie they would make back when like Ang Lee was making movies like The Hulk.
Yeah.
Or like back when it was more like, what's this director's take going to be on, rather than the MCU
like
movie
this
machine
is
or
the established.
the Zack
this is
Snyder
the format.
verse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it's big. It's I would say it's dumb in places, but it's not stupid. It's just sometimes it's just like, you know what would be big, dumb, and fun?
Yeah.
Having these two characters kiss as we pan around a bunch of explosions at the same time, and you're like, well, this is fun.
Yeah.
So it some of it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's still.
It's like you go to an ice cream shop and you're like, I just like a banana split, and you're expecting chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, bananas, and they come and they got Blue Moon in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got Panda Paws.
Yeah.
They've got raspberry syrup.
Yeah.
It's just. It's what you want.
Yeah. Meanwhile, somebody's like
just
jamming on the guitar next to you.
So much more, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, it could be this banana split, or it could be this giant tower of multicolored ice creams.
This also had a sweet soundtrack.
It did.
So,
Agreed.
My wife and her brother, because I saw it with them, they liked it fine. So I don't know who this is for. I thought my wife would have really liked it.
Yeah,
but
my wife was all in. She loved it.
I was watching. I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
And it was very quick that I loved it. To me, maybe it's because I was watching people play Mega Man X on Twitch before I saw this movie. But when they visit Atlantis for the first time, the soundtrack is very video game-ish.
Yeah.
And the special effects, it felt like I was watching a Super Nintendo game or like a Sega Genesis game. Like back when all the pixels were just as much color as they could fit, just like on screen.
It made me... and don't take this the wrong way, because I hate the Phantom Menace, but some of the visuals I thought like
Pre-sunken Atlantis looks like Naboo.
Yeah. Like it's like it has some of the same aesthetics of that visual style, and it just does it like better and more right.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of that kind of scope.
And they were like, look how great Atlantis was before it sank. I'm like, oh, so it was. I kept expecting somebody to be like, peace.
Yeah, right.
So
Yep.
I'm
a big fan. I'm a big fan. Do you want me to tell the nice people that I saw Holmes and Watson, or should we just not even talk about that?
Nick saw Holmes and Watson.
I did, and
he hates himself.
While I didn't, no, you know what? My friend Chris and I, an old library buddy of mine, when they first announced, we were like, oh, we got to go see that. And then it came out, and everybody was like, this is the worst thing ever. And we were kind of like, no, we made an arrangement. We're going to go see it. So I will say that I laughed. There's a couple of moments in there that I laughed pretty hard at, but it is a very bad movie.
Okay, yeah.
I liked the musical sequence, though. I thought it was fun.
I remember one review headline wrote that this was a career low for both Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Yeah, you could probably say that.
I love Will Ferrell. He's one of my favorite comedians in movies and stuff.
I guess I don't get like walking out and saying this is like the worst movie ever made. You know what I mean? I thought there was enough there,
It had a perfect 0 until somebody gave it like 1 tomato and was like, yeah, it was okay.
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know that I would say never ever watch this movie. I think it was bad, but it wasn't like insulting to me.
Right.
So I watched that. I watched on Christmas Eve. I took my son to see Mary Poppins Returns. Now I don't know where you fall in the Mary Poppins spectrum. Are you a Mary Poppins fan?
I liked the first movie fine.
Okay,
it's not one of my favorites ever. But
Dick Van Dyke is like my hero. So I've always loved that movie. I've always loved the soundtrack. I've always loved the music. I've not read the P.L. Travers books actually, but I was a huge fan of that. I wasn't sure if my son was going to like it or not. It was kind of a situation where it was the only thing playing, and I was like, no, let's go see a movie. But he was the most like focused and invested in a movie more than any other movie we've ever gone to. He loved this movie. I will say that it never strays from the formula of the original Mary Poppins in a way that works most of the time, and other times does not.
Okay.
I would, if I had to, I think Lin-Manuel Miranda and Emily Blunt, I think, were poor choices. I think that Emily Blunt has some of the... I think she's right in some places. She's not a strong enough singer. She doesn't quite get it right, especially because they want it to be a sequel to the original movie. It's very clear that this is not just like, here's Mary Poppins, enjoy this movie. This is Mary Poppins 2. And I think that is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
A huge mistake.
Well, if it's anything like Batman Returns, I assume it gets very dark and sexual.
Yes, it does, definitely.
So-
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think it just falls flat constantly. I think having him do a stupid Cockney accent that's like almost as bad as the Dick Van Dyke one without the charm, I think is a mistake. It never plays to his strengths.
I'm probably seeing it this weekend with.
I didn't hate it.
Wife,
I know it sounds like I hated it, but
Yeah.
it just, you watch it and you think these are very obvious flaws. For me, I enjoyed it. The music has grown on me because my son always wants to hear it, so it has grown on me. I like it a little bit more. Worth the price of admission to see Dick Van Dyke and Angela Lansbury like doing what they do.
Okay.
They're both great in it.
Isn't Angela Lansbury like 102?
They're both very old. Yeah. They're both like high 90s. But Angela Lansbury is a balloon lady, which is a character from the books, not in the first movie. She has a great song. Her song is basically the Let's Go Fly a Kite of this movie.
I heard, I don't know if this will ruin or color your experience,
Yeah.
that they wanted Julie Andrews
For
back
the balloon lady.
Yeah,
When I watched it, I was like, this is what Julie Andrews would be
yeah,
doing.
but she said no thank you.
And I think she
But
made
she
the
came back for Princess Bride too.
Princess Diaries too.
Princess Diaries too.
I think she made the right choice because
Okay,
this
yeah.
is like an iconic Julie Andrews thing. I think having her in it probably would have been weird. I think it was a good call. I wish that it would have been that Angela Lansbury was playing her character from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I think that would have been super cool if they would have just been like, all right, Mrs. Price, see you later.
Right.
I would have been like, what? You know, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it.
Okay.
My son loved
Do you
it.
have a fan fiction you're writing where Julie Andrews is Mary Poppins and Angela Lansbury's from Bedknobs and
Let me
Broomsticks
quickly
are
write
sisters,
this down. I love it.
and then they have to team up?
Have you seen Bumblebee?
No.
So
not
just
yet.
I have seen Bumblebee.
Just you've seen
All right,
Bumblebee.
soft reboot of the Transformers franchise, which I left a long time ago.
The problem for me with Bumblebee is that everyone I know is just so unforgiving that no one, my wife, her brother, that's it with the people I was around
I
for
don't
9
know what
days.
it is,
No one
but-
wanted to see it.
I mean, I like Haley Steinfeld. I like the 80s setting. The trailers for Bumblebee just worked for me, and
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot after
Yeah.
having not seen the Marky Mark ones. And I love Marky Mark, so I can't believe that.
There's two more. I've seen the fourth one,
Okay.
which was the first Marky Mark
Yeah.
one, but I never saw the fifth one because it was like all the reviews said no, barely any Transformers, not a lot of action. I'm like, well, why is it still 4 hours?
Yeah, seriously.
so
So I would say about Bumblebee that it is harmless. It has some cool scenes. John Cena's in it, and it's like every single scene that he's in, they were like, all right, now this is what your character is going to be. You're going to be the villain. You're going to be the funny one. You're going to be the smart.
it's every Cena he's in.
Ah.
I'm on it
So
today.
not his fault, I would say, but
right, yeah.
it's just, it still feels a little slow. It still lags a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But the Transformer action is pretty solid. It's not, I think those movies became just like you take a big box of bike chains and just like shake them,
Yeah.
and that's what those movies were.
Yeah.
This wasn't that. So I think Bumblebee is worth watching. It's not great.
I saw the first Transformers movie twice
Yeah.
in theaters.
The first one is,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I would say it's watchable.
I got off the
would like
plane
it.
from Japan and saw the third one. And so maybe it was the jet lag. I was like, I'm enjoying myself here.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes, you're right. Once Marky Mark got on board, it fell apart. So I was hoping this was going to like be
Yeah.
the one that was like, oh, Transformers.
It might work for you more than it did for me. I
Okay.
definitely think you should see it.
All right.
And I think you should see it, our listeners and viewers.
Yeah. This is the most active my dogs
I like it.
ever been.
Yeah,
They
Eric's
just-
dogs are running around everyone, and it's a nice ambiance.
I guess.
Listen,
Go. Scram.
I think we're running hot, so why don't we jump right into the New York Times bestseller list?
I think that's it. No. Oh, my word.
New York Times bestseller list?
Yeah, sorry. That was my golden retriever that just fell over.
Pretty excited.
Yeah, it sure
Excitable.
was. So that's it. That's you didn't know like 4 movies, right? For you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
All I saw was Aquaman.
Yeah, I know. I'm killing it.
Hey, I will say.
I
don't-
also saw Smallfoot, so that's 5 movies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you want to quickly say something about Smallfoot?
Sure, I didn't know it was a musical, and I enjoyed the music.
Yeah.
The movie was very much just fine. I'm
Right.
not a big James Corden fan, so I was kind of like whatever with him, but The movie was fine.
Speaking of musicals,
Yeah.
there was a scene in Aquaman.
Yeah.
It's when they're in that like villa, the
Yeah,
villa.
yeah. Okay.
And my wife swore they were going to start breaking out in song.
Yeah, it was very Mamma Mia. In that
To me,
segment.
it felt very much like this is the Aquaman live action Aquaman movie Disney would make.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe like post Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
Yeah. So all right, New York Times. No, advance notices.
Yeah, let's just skip them.
Okay.
Let's move right on to
Screw those
book
advance
news,
notices.
everybody.
Well, I'm gonna suggest we save the TV for next week because we just spent 40 minutes recapping what we just did.
Oh.
Over. So I don't think we'll have any time.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's do some advance notices then.
Okay.
All right. Coming out for advance notices, we have a couple different options here, and they both look pretty interesting to me.
All right.
Early Riser by Jasper Ford. Now, this is coming out in large print. I haven't read Jasper Ford's stuff. His Tuesday Next series, my wife was a fan of. Here we got here. This is a standalone. Every winter, the human population hibernates. During those bitterly cold 4 months, the nation is a snow-draped landscape of desolate loneliness and devoid of human activity. Well, not quite. Your name is Charlie Worthing, and it's your first season with the Winter Consuls, the committed but mildly unhinged group of misfits who are responsible for ensuring the hibernatory safety and safe passage of the sleeping masses. You're investigating an outbreak of viral dreams which you dismiss as nonsense, nothing more than a quirky afterfact born of the sleeping mind. When the dreams start to kill people, it's unsettling. When you get the dreams too, it's weird. When they start to come true, you begin to doubt your sanity. But teasing truths from winter is never easy. You have to avoid the villains and their penchant for murder, kidnapping, and stamp collecting, ensure you aren't eaten by night walkers whose thirst for human flesh can only be satisfied by comfort food, and sidestep the increasingly less than mythical Wintervolk. But so long as you remember to wrap up warmly, you'll be fine.
Oh, good. The cover is fun.
Yeah.
Winterscape with a little beach
Yeah,
inside.
yeah.
So
I don't know. That sounds kind of interesting to me. Quirky and interesting.
it sounds insane to me.
Yeah, it does.
Like a
All
fever
right.
dream.
The next we have The Wolf and the Watchman by Nicholas Nat Ochdag.
Who watches
And
The Wolf Watchman?
this is yeah.
Okay.
We got some good blurbs here by A.J. Finn, author of Woman in the Window. A.J. Finn says the alien is set in 18th century Stockholm, brawny, bloody, intricate, enthralling, and the best historical thriller I've read in 20 years.
Wow. Okay. Where's this set?
Oh, I don't know. Frederick Bachman, author of A Man Called Ove, thrilling, unnerving, clever, and beautiful. Kirkus says chilling. Everybody can pretty much agree that it's either chilling or thrilling.
Okay.
Chilling and thought-provoking, relentless, well-written, and nearly impossible to put down. A starred review from Kirkus. Named Best Debut Novel of 2017 by the Swedish Academy of Crime Writers. Wow. So lots of good heavy praise on this one.
So watch for
out.
The Wolf and the Watchman.
Exactly. Go set a wolf and a watchman. All right. New York Times bestseller
That was
list.
a thinker.
What you got?
All right. New York Times bestsellers
I'm
list.
excited. I'm ready to hear it.
Well, it is the new year. Might be a little same as the old year. Some things have returned to the list, and I think it's because people got them for Christmas presents.
Yes.
So you got number 10 being The Long Road to Mercy by David Baldacci, which is a Atlee Pine book, Saving Democracy. You have, what's at number 9? Oh, there it is, right next to us even. 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty, which
Yes.
we're talking about next week.
Yep.
So we'll get an in-depth review from my wife about that.
Yep.
Number 8, Lead Child, a Jack Reacher novel, past tense. Jack Reacher explores the New England town
that's
where
a
his
dad
father
gift.
was born.
Dad gift.
Yeah. Well, maybe this one. Well, maybe this one because of Goodreads awards as well.
Oh, could be.
Elevation by Stephen King
Oh.
is back up.
Well, that's another good gift though because it's inexpensive. It's
small,
little.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So number 7, this is the guy who's helped dealing with small town prejudice, but he's also getting lighter.
Elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's slowly losing weight.
As told by Nick, Mitch Albom's Next Person You Meet in Heaven
Gift.
is at number 6.
Gift.
Number 5, this was off the list.
You know
for a
what?
while.
Can I just say the Mitch Albom book? I might go back and read some of the ones I missed because he always does some like weird, like ethereal plot that's intriguing to me. So when I went back and looked to see which ones I read and which ones I hadn't, I might be checking in with Mitch Albom again. So stay tuned.
All
Sorry,
right.
number 5.
Number 5 is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delilah Owens. This
Yes.
one had disappeared and been down on the list for a little bit. But
Is this a Reese book club pick or an Oprah pick? I can't remember.
Reese Witherspoon.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the holidays brought it back up.
Sure.
So Where the Crawdads Sing. Number 4, James Patterson, Target, Alex Cross. Alex Cross Returns. This is book 26 of Alex Cross books. Number 3, Every Breath by Nicholas Sparks. This has stayed in the top 3 for a while.
We're going to need to ask your wife about this one because
she hasn't read it.
I know. She's joined us on the Nicholas Sparks podcast. She's a huge fan.
Yeah.
Just not feeling it.
Difficult
I
choices
want to know why.
surface
We're
when
gonna put her on
Hope
the spot.
Anderson and True Walls meet in North Carolina seaside town. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Number 2, Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, the first volume of the 2-part history of the Targaryens and Westeros.
Thanks. Thank you.
So, yeah, 2 parts.
Yeah.
He still has 2 more books to write.
I know.
And he's got the...
I've said many times I got no horse in this race, but I finished the series.
Yeah. He's also writing those wild cards. The wild cards is becoming a show...
Well, he edits the wild
Right.
cards. I think he contributes to them some stories, but yeah.
So, that's a meeting. That's a 2-hour meeting in your day.
That's taking some time. That and picking out what sea captain hat to wear is probably taking up a lot.
Number 1, The Reckoning by John Grisham. A
yeah.
decorated World War II veteran shoots and kills a pastor.
Yep, I've got this on my holds list.
Do you?
Just waiting for it to come in.
What was his last one? Rooster Bar? Was that his last one?
No.
Did you like his last one?
I liked Camino Island.
But you didn't like Rooster Bar.
I think there's one more.
Did I get you
Can't
Rooster
remember.
Bar?
You did get me Rooster Bar. No, Rooster Bar was solid. It was like a 3-star. Camino
All right.
Island I really liked.
Okay. All right, well, we're 43 minutes in, so maybe... I don't know. Do you want to still cover TV?
Let's do it.
All right, let's cover TV.
Let's cover some TV.
A lot of roller coaster this
I
has
know.
been. So, yeah, hopefully January is when, like, new big young adult books come out, like January, February. So hopefully that will apply for the... and we'll have to do a books of 2019 people are looking forward to. We always do a movie one, but we're going to do TV. I think this is the first time we've talked about...
It is the first time we've done TV. Now, I'm going to be pulling a lot from an article from TV Guide written by Damien Holbrook.
If you're wondering who
Emily
still subscribes
Haslanian.
to TV Guide magazine and receives it in their mailbox on a regular basis, he's on the podcast now.
It's so cheap. I mean, it's basically like, we'll give you $5 to accept this subscription. So, yeah.
Well, it's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, so this
institution's
is...
still going.
And we've seen some spikes in this recently. I think Hulu's been doing a lot of good stuff. I haven't seen The Handmaid's Tale because no thank you, but that's gotten like nothing but praise. 11/22/63 has been on Hulu. A lot of, I think people are starting to mine books a little bit more. Not that
For
that's
TV
super
shows.
new.
Yeah.
And as you recall, they're working on a connected John Grisham universe.
Oh yeah, we mentioned that. Yeah.
Anyway.
Altered Carbon's big for Netflix.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
must be that maybe the rights are cheaper.
Could be.
And has some name recognition.
Yeah.
I mean,
It could also be like for the authors, it might be a good deal because you never know how long it's going to go on.
but also it seems to be what happens is like a movie comes out by the author,
Yeah.
and then TV,
And then
like
they take a look. Well, Gillian Flynn.
Sharp
for
Objects.
one. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
what I was going to
Yep.
say. That became. Though, is Leah Moriarty, has she been a movie? No. Big Little Lies was the first.
Husband's Secret is being turned into a movie.
Okay.
Yep. But
Cool.
Big Little Lies started. Yep. As a
Right.
series. All right. So first, I just want to quickly eulogize page-to-screen adaptation that I just finished this morning, and that is The Odd Couple with Matthew Perry and Thomas Lennon.
4 seasons?
3 seasons.
Oh.
3 seasons ended in 2017,
Right.
I believe. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was kind of a harmless, like CBS kind of sitcom, but they had great chemistry, and there was a kind of thing where they always like kind of rose above the level of material, and it was just so fun to watch them. So 3 seasons, a lot of fun. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I know the first season's on DVD. The rest, I think maybe you can only get on the CBS app, which I have.
My wife wants to watch it.
She should. I think she would
She
enjoy
watched
it.
Joey after finishing her last run of Friends,
Yeah.
and she ended up realizing she could have watched a
Yeah.
bunch more seasons of Joey.
This was like a passion project for Matthew Perry. He'd been wanting to get this going for a long time and
Right.
finally did. 3 seasons is respectable,
Yeah.
you know? So anyway, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I'll probably rewatch it again someday because it's just, you know, you can just pop it in and have a good time.
All
But
right.
hats off, Matthew Perry, Thomas Lennon. Thanks, friends. We're going to be looking first at one called Good Omens. This is a Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett novel from the 90s, kind of a cult novel. It's being adapted for streaming, and the plot basically is an angel and a demon kind of have a secret coalition because they want to prevent Armageddon because they're pretty happy with the current deals they have. So the Angel is played by Michael Sheen. I'm a big fan of Michael Sheen from Frost Nixon in particularly, but he's funny on 30 Rock.
Yes, I like him when he's funny. I think my wife knows him a lot from
Twilight?
the Underworld
Okay.
movies. That's right. He's also so he's just in some bad vampire films.
Yes, he is. But it's him and David Tennant's playing the demon.
Yeah.
And I imagine they would have a great chemistry. And
Is this Hulu, you said?
I think it's Amazon, actually.
Oh, wow.
But John Hamm. This is John Hamm's first regular TV gig. He's playing the Archangel Gabriel, and that just sounds amazing to me. So
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I guess...
It does. So I would like to check into this at some point.
So I haven't read this.
I haven't read it either. But I would encourage folks to go back and check out our Neil Gaiman Spotlight episode with Ben Lehman.
Yeah, we
talked
did
about
that.
a lot of Neil Gaiman stuff.
I'm going to have to read this, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's what it was about.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go through and get some of these for the library that we don't have.
Yeah, I thought... Because he puts out a lot of anthology books.
Okay.
And I think when I saw this, I connected it with Fragile Things, or whichever one that book is called. And so I think I assumed it was anthology. But
Well, you mentioned The Witcher up front. You want to talk a little bit about The Witcher?
The Witcher, yeah, it's supposed to be 2019. I don't think there's an exact date, mainly because it's
Netflix.
Netflix, and sometimes they're just like,
They do whatever they
Witcher's
want.
out tomorrow,
Yep.
Witcher's out now, Witcher's been out for 20 days, watch it. With Henry Cavill and a bunch of other roles that are being filled that I don't pay attention to too much. And it's going to be based more on the books because it's taking place, so it's a younger Witcher.
Okay.
So if for fans of the games...
They're so cute when they're that age.
That's true. For fans of the games, I think they'll be a little confused because
Okay.
it's not a sequel to the games.
Right.
It's not a sequel to the books.
So is it like a prequel?
It's... I think
Is
because...
Liam Neeson in it?
Well, no, because the character Ciri is in
Okay.
it as a young girl. So I think that means it's kind of somewhere around like the first book in terms of
And The Witcher's
timeline.
always like, Siri, directions to Arby's.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
But she's a teenager. She's like, find
She's
it
like,
yourself.
I don't know where it is. What's Arby's?
Yeah. So it's going to be on Netflix. I don't know if Netflix can make a good-looking, like, high fantasy show, because this does have monsters and stuff.
Oh. Bold.
Yeah. So,
I think Netflix has plenty of cash. don't
yeah, they do,
Okay.
but it doesn't always... They have, like... I don't know if you've noticed this, but every now and then I notice that, like, Netflix has a very, like, type of lighting. Like, things are never
I have
lit
not noticed
as
this, but-
well as other... But anyway, maybe this will be really cool. I hope so.
Okay.
But yeah, Henry Cavill and his first non-Superman.
Yeah.
Well,
Foray.
since he maybe got uncast as Superman.
Yep.
So
Have you read Justin Cronin's stuff? It seems like it'd be up your alley.
I don't know. Is he have a show?
Yeah, he does. The Passage is coming out, and based on his post-apocalyptic trilogy.
The Passage.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that? Oh, I really thought you would have read it.
Yes, I think I am familiar with the Passage. Oh yeah, this had a lot of play. Isn't this kind of recent even?
It is. It is.
So
So anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about it. A government-created project has turned people into vampire creatures. Agent Brad Wilgas, cast as none other than Zach Morris himself, Mark Paul Gosselaar, I don't think he appreciates that, but is on the run with Patient Zero, a young orphan who may be the key to saving humanity.
okay.
Do you remember when this came out? It got a lot of comparisons to like Cormac McCarthy on the Road and all that.
Oh, I don't remember when
familiar
it
with
came
it?
out,
Okay.
but what's the sequel? The 12.
I can't
All right.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's going to be just a network show. It's going to be on
On
Fox.
Fox,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, well, so might last for a season.
It might. Do you want to take one?
Little tiny one. A Discovery of Witches. No, you sent me the picture of this article, and it's very
I'm
tiny.
not familiar. Well, you can blow it up. After finding an
Did.
enchanted manuscript, Yale professor, reluctant witch Diana Bishop starts an alliance and forbidden fling. Look out. With a biochemist vampire. Their task, solve the book's hidden mysteries. Based on Deborah Harkness's All Souls series, which has done pretty good numbers.
Yeah,
The
a
books.
lot of
It's
a lot
art-
of TV covers out there now.
Yeah, it's already set for to have 3 seasons, like before it even airs.
Wow, where is this happening?
Pretty big deal. This is Sundance.
No, but what?
Sundance Now / Shudder are the streaming places where you can get it.
Oh, okay.
In a nonfiction adaptation here, you don't see those too often. Saturday Night Live's A.D. Bryant's going to be in the 6-part take on Lindy West's memoir Shrill: Notes from a Loud Woman. Can Annie break from people's first impressions to become a successful journalist? I'm a big fan of A.D. Bryant. It seems like she would be good in that kind of show.
Yeah.
Have you read Catch-22?
I haven't. I've been meaning
haven't
to for
either.
my whole life.
We should do it. We should do it this year. Hulu is going to be adapting that. Joseph Heller's darkly comic anti-war classic becomes a 6-episode miniseries with Christopher Abbott, Hugh Laurie, and George Clooney, who is executive producing and directing as well. So pretty high profile there.
Yeah, I wonder who's playing like the lead, because I think he's supposed to be a bit wacky.
Christopher Abbott. It's not a name that I recognize.
Okay.
I'm always a fan of Hugh Laurie. Hugh Laurie actually was one of the highlights of the Watson and Holmes movie. He shows up as Mycroft.
Mycroft.
Yeah, which is pretty cool because House, the Hugh Laurie show, is always, it's a very loose adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. So it's kind of cool to see him pop up, and he was great as Mycroft in that. But anyway, he's going to be in Catch-22 along with George Clooney.
Okay.
And Kyle Chandler, who I love. You got one you want to talk about?
I was looking up to see if Wild Cards was coming out this year.
George R. R. Martin.
George R. R. Martin thing, because Hulu is doing that as well.
Okay.
Let's see. Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionist.
Oh, yeah. YA series.
Producer reunites with author Sarah Shepard for more student secrets and murder, plus 2 familiar Rosewood faces. So, I don't know anything about The Perfectionist.
Watched Pretty Little Liars. I watched The Lion Game when that was out for a while.
I think those are different.
What?
Are they different?
What do you mean?
Are they
I
different
think they're
things?
both Sarah Shepard novels.
Oh, are they?
They're not connected.
Right.
But
well, I
both...
didn't realize The Perfectionist was related.
Connected?
Yeah, Pretty Little Liars lasted for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So much so that they became Pretty Adult Liars. I apologize for that.
No,
but yeah, so
I
The Perfectionist. It doesn't say anything on this article. I assume it's coming to. Oh, there it is. Freeform.
Freeform. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's.
You want to each maybe do one more? Right. The one that I was interested in is called The Rook, and that's going to be on Stars. So, a woman wakes up with no memories, several supernatural powers, and freaky foes on her tail. Turns out she's a London-based spy who must get her memories back, and fast. In this take on Daniel O'Malley's debut novel. I don't recall this book coming out.
Okay.
Do you? Do you remember the book? Okay.
No.
We'll have to check and see.
I don't recognize the one I'm about to say either.
Oh, okay.
Amistad Maupin's Tales of the City.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't remember Tales of the City, but I know Amistad Maupin.
All right. It's back to 28 Barbary Lane for Mary A. Singleton. Ozark's Laura Linney, who returns to... she's other stuff. I would say Frasier's Laura Linney.
Oh, yeah.
Who returns to family and friends, Francisco, after decades away, based on stories of Maupin's acclaimed 9-book series. Okay. Oh, but do you want to tackle the Joe Hill one?
Yeah, sure. So Joe Hill, who's been in the news quite a lot lately with his short story collection, his graphic novel, all that's been doing really well. This is an adaptation of his Nosferatu, which is spelled out like a license plate, NOS4A2.
Oh, I never put that together.
Oh, this is an adaptation that AMC is doing, starring Zachary Quinto, the erstwhile Mr. Spock. Which all the news points to no Star Trek 4,
Star Trek 4 being shelved.
It looks like the director who they hired has moved on to the George R. R. Martin prequel to Game of Thrones. So she's got like her gig signed up, and it looks like pretty much Star Trek 4 is shuttered, which makes me very sad. But anyway, Zachary Quinto is going to star in this Joe Hill adaptation where he plays a savage, immortal abductor who feeds off the souls of kids and dumps the remains in the strange Christmas land. So, not my cup of tea. Not something that I plan to watch.
Yeah.
But the book got a lot of play, and, Anyway.
Yeah.
So, again, a lot of this we're pulling from a TV Guide article by Emily Aslanian. So, thanks, Emily.
And I don't know when the Game of Thrones prequel series is set. Probably not this year.
No, I would.
They wait a long time, so that would probably be something more like 2020 when it starts. So I don't know. Which ones are you excited for? The Bad Omens?
I want to watch Rook. I would want to watch Bad Omens. The Fox one about the post-apocalyptic, the one with Mark Paul Gosselaar.
The Passage.
Yeah, The Passage,
okay.
the Justin Cronin thing. Yeah, I always wanted to read that book, and I never got around to it. So that one sounds pretty interesting to me. Yeah. All right, well, thanks for tuning in for all that. For library news, we've got a concert. Rachel Bell and Company it's Eloise and Co. is what it's called. Is coming.
A cat named Eloise.
You do. January 10th. Roger Pettengill's coming. We've got a big ballet a dance performance from Taylor 2, which is a pretty big dance company coming here. Pretty big deal for that. Looking forward to all that. The book club, of course, reading Leanne Moriarty books.
Woo!
First up, What Alice Forgot, then moving on to The Husband's Secret. So hope you can join us for that.
And we got one starting in March.
Yep, Eric and I are going to be doing a sci-fi book club.
Woo!
First up is Isaac Asimov with First of the Robot books, Cave of the Clan... No, not Cave of the Clan Bear. That's genial. What's it called?
Caves of Steel.
Caves of Steel, yeah. We're not
I mean, you can read Caves of the Clan Bear if
why
you
not?
want.
Why not? Anyway, so we got all that coming up. Anything else you want to add in there?
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out today, so but Teen Night is back every Wednesday.
Great.
At 5:30. Our first movie of the after-school movie of the year is the 11th on Friday. Or Friday the 11th at 3:30. We're showing Axel.
Yes.
I don't know if you're supposed to say it like Axel.
I think you have to, yeah.
That's A.X.L.
Yeah.
It's a robot dog. Sometimes he forms a ramp so you can ride your dirt bike up him.
Okay.
And do some tricks.
All right.
Other times he's a dog.
Yeah.
So our last movie we showed for after school was Alpha, which
Yeah.
is like the first boy and his dog.
Yeah.
And now we're showing like the future dog.
Oh, nice.
So,
a little series.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me, my first senior matinee of the year is going to be on Tuesday the 20th, and we're going to watch more American Graffiti, the sequel
Yeah.
to American Graffiti,
Yeah.
which I love American Graffiti, so I'm excited about the sequel. It's really the last time Ron Howard, played a named role outside of, showing up on The Odd Couple
And Arrested
when Gary
Development.
Marshall died.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he plays himself in that.
Oh.
And the narrator, of course. But
Yeah.
anyway, we're showing more American Graffiti,
Yeah.
so hope you can
That's
join us
how
for
you
that.
narrate an episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to be talking with Kendra Mickles about Leanne Moriarty.
Yeah.
So tune in for that.
And
Join us for the
then-
podcast.
And then we'll be covering 2019 books.
Yep.
And 2019 movies.
Yep.
Because we did TV shows. Also, at the end of the month, Nick and I are going to Seattle
Yeah,
for the ALA conference.
Midwinter Conference. We're going to be
So-
there for the Youth Media Awards. So
Yeah.
we'll be able to cover that right there.
Yeah, what day is that?
Pretty
You
exciting. I don't remember what day that is, but
All
it's late January.
remember? Yeah. So
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Eric's dogs for clumping around while we talk.
yeah,
And
now they're quiet. Now that we're
thanks
ending,
to
they're all just went
Eric's
to bed.
Kitchen for hosting us, and
Yeah.
we'll see you next week.
And done.
All right.
Better save this real quick.
Yeah, you better.
But we're still live on Twitch. All right. Thanks.
Any questions from viewers that we need to address?
Somebody said Will Ferrell's a comedy god.
Well, I usually am a fan of Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And he does, I think really with Holmes and Watson, it was like somebody in there needed to have a more firm hand, needed to have a better eye to structure, because sometimes it's like, yeah, I could see why that would be funny, but it doesn't make sense for this movie.
Right.
But even so, you know, a quiet Friday night at home of pizza and popcorn, you could watch Holmes and Watson and have a good time.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it.
Okay.
So see y'all later at a regular time.
That's right. Bye-bye.
Bye.